Blood. Where's the pages document I just had? Oh, there it is. Cool. Sweet. That's that. That's real cool. Calm. So over the lockdown period, I've really started to notice and really start to think, what is it that brings me value? What's the one thing for me that when I sit down and actually think about it, puts me in a situation where I can be very calm and very cool and collected and really gather my thoughts as to where my values lied. And that made me realize it's music. So, JME is an artist for me that has solidified himself as not only one of Grime's greatest, but one of Grime's most unique artists. When you think of his latest album, his fifth album, Grime MC, you can really see how everything leading up to that album really solidified how much of a unique and how set apart JME is from a lot of other Grime artists. So one of the biggest examples for me was through releasing his album on iPods and giving it out, releasing it on vinyl, but also the sheer fact that for a very long period of time, and it wasn't only until a couple of weeks ago, JME released Grime MC to be on all streaming platforms. In a realm where everyone is fastly consuming music, JME is an artist that actually moves at his own pace and actually, quite frankly, does things in ways that he sees fit will be best for our consumptions as people who consume music. Now, with that, this first video for me, I've been wondering how am I going to start it, how am I going to push forward with it, and what the title of the video is actually going to be. So I decided that today's video is going to be about my favorite lyrics from JME's Grime MC. My first introduction to who JME was through a lot of the grime sets that he had done throughout time, throughout with BBK, and some of the features that I had heard from him, especially on Skepta's Microphone Champion with Disguise. I only started to get invested in JME when he released his album Blam back in 2010. And for me, listening to that album really solidified how much value, but also how much care JME puts into things like production, his lyrics, his ideas, and really just conceptualize it all within one album. From that point on, I was really invested from within JME. And then it wasn't until I heard Integrity that I feel like JME really started to solidify his sound, solidify who he was, and really sort of understand the way he moves around within the music industry, the way he moves around as a Grime MC, the way he moves around just as a human being in general. That album was about 5 years ago. And since then, everyone was really anticipating, yo, when is JME going to release another album? When is JME sort of going to come out and do something else? And Grime MC is an epitome of all of those 4 years of hard work that he's put into this album, but also made me realize how much effort and how much work he's actually put into this whole thing as well. I'm basically going to go through pretty much my favorite lyrics, my favorite things about Grime MC that I've listened to since it first released when I bought it to now. So one thing for me that really stands out about JME as an artist is, and this is my personal bias, is his constant references to gaming lyrics. And that could be through production all the way to the detailed lyrics that he actually puts forth. And again, when you listen to Blam, you realize that the last song on the album is Mario's Flag. And when you come back and you listen to Grime MC, it's literally just riddled with loads of different gaming references, gaming lyrics, and gaming productions. So when you listen to songs like Pricks, Nang, Move On, This One, and How Much, you really start to see where the production lies and gaming references and gaming instances where he actually speaks on it within the album. Most notably for me is when you listen to 96 Bars of My Life, where he says, graduation day, where were you? That's right, JME, don't pass through. Bad man don't need no ceremony like Ryu in Street Fighter 2. Or fuck FIFA man used to pay Pez. Or when you go back to this one, it says, Xbox, I don't play no more. PC Master Race, say no more. Killer Instinct, Instinctive Killer, when you see me with Jago Sword. So you can really start to tell and really start to see where Jamie's references start coming in and actually start passing through as you go on and as you explore throughout Grime MC. For me, this video is pretty much going to be about my favorite lyrics throughout this album, but also the most notable things for me that really stand out when I listen to these albums and when I listen to these projects. So with that, let's get into it. So when listening to Grime MC, one of the main songs that really stood out for me lyrically was Pricks. And pretty much the lyric that stands out for me in that album is where Jamie says, "Don't ask me for no clean version of my rhythm. You can't ask Denzel for a clean version of Training Day. You take what you're given. There ain't no clean version of The Equalizer. There ain't no clean taken of Pelham. There ain't no clean version of Michelangelo's artwork with a penis hidden." We're in a period now where there's so many independent artists that do what they want and are actually going around in ways that they're expressing their own creative freedom. And so listening to Jamie's album and listening to that point, I really started to realize and think, you know what? He's actually right. You get what you're given and you actually take what it is that you should take. Another part in that song that really stands out to me is where Jamie literally says the route that Jamie took was different to the route that JK took, and that was different to the route that P Money took, and that was different to the route that AJ took, and that was different to the route that you're going to take. The blueprint is to carve your own way. Us man open doors. Once you get through, you solve the maze. Serious. Listening to that and watching that really made me realize how everyone is on their own journey. And especially with a lot of emerging grime artists today, even when you're thinking about people like Big Zoo, Capo Lee, Kamikaze, SBK, Novelist, there's so many different grime artists that are doing so many different things in their own way. And when you actually sit and realize it and sit and think about it, everybody's route is different. Everybody's journey is different as a grime artist. And the most beautiful thing is that when you have an emerging grime artist that comes in today's age and they actually go and look at all of these grime artists, they've really got a blueprint that has been carved for generations for these artists. And they can actually sit and really talk about what it is that they find interesting, go into a deeper sense as to how they find their own voice and how they find their own identity, which makes sense when, you know, Jamie literally says, "Us man open the doors, but once you get through, you have to solve your own maze." But the next song actually I am going to talk about is Jamie's song, "You Watch Me." "You Watch Me" is probably one of the funniest songs I have probably heard Jamie spit on. Quite frankly, because he speaks so much about how much people literally watch him as an artist, but also really kind of see him in a different way than he actually is. And so one of the most noticeable lyrics for me throughout that album is where Jamie literally says, "You're acting weird. The internet age has messed up your brain, fam. Why are you scared? I sat with open body language, holding a sandwich, come over here and talk." I feel like the celebrity culture and sort of the way social media has literally made us think is that these people aren't approachable. I can't approach Jamie. I can't sit and I can't speak to him, nor can I really sort of engage and actually have a conversation with him. But in actual fact, he really just lays it out plain and simple, where he's just a normal guy. Just like everybody else, we've all got our own journeys and we've all got our own situations. But through having literally seeing him, he literally makes us realize, like, yo, I'm just like you. There is nothing different to what I'm doing or to who I am as a human being. He literally is someone that's chill. Like, I've seen moments and I've been in situations where I've seen this guy just walking around, and that's how it should be. And he's such a blessed guy. When you speak to him, he's like, yo, and you have a conversation, and that's that. But he's literally right. The internet age has really messed up our brains in a way that's like, yo, we feel like we can't really do much or do anything. He even goes into a little story where he says, one little shit went and called his dad and said he's the one getting harassed after I caught him trying to film me shopping, so I chiefed him up for bants, you know. And then he goes on and says, some youth said, yo, why you on foot like I'm supposed to be in a limousine? When ain't no celebrity, don't insult my integrity. And it's crazy because we have this conception and we have this idea that all these celebrities or all these grime artists that literally have so much money or have accumulated fame and wealth and, you know, respect within their own specific craft have to live a lifestyle which is outside of ours. When in actual fact, that's not really the case. And that's not really what it is that we have to do, you know. And Jamie literally proves that point by saying, yo, I'm someone who literally is just like you. I'm no different to anyone like you. So don't think I have to be in a limousine, or don't think I have to be in a situation where I'm doing something mad in order for you to think that I'm different from you, you know? And I guess that's one thing for me that I respect so much about JME. This guy is an artist who literally just speaks from the heart, that he wants you to understand there's no difference between me and you, apart from the fact that I am one of Grime's greatest. Probably another thing that's really interested me about the album is on the song Yesmen, where Jamie says, the people closest to me on most subjects don't agree, but instead of arguing frequently, in diversity we find beauty. One thing I know for a fact is that whenever we have certain conversations with people, we always want to get them to think about our point of view. We always want them to always agree with our own opinions. But usually you actually find that when you have intellectual conversations with certain people, you really start to understand that there is actually beauty in people having other opinions other than our own. You know, people who agree with us is nice, but people who disagree with us within good reason is also just as beautiful. Because, again, there's a saying that if you go into a room and you're the smartest person there, then you're in the wrong room. And Jamie articulates that pretty well within just a simple sentence where he literally just mentions that people who have different opinions to you, that's where the true beauty lies in. That's where that diversity is. And I think that's something that we can always appreciate whenever you've had a conversation, or you can think back to a conversation that you've had, where you've had literally a moment where you're speaking to someone and you've had such a diverse and different conversation even. So that's another thing that's really pointed out to me. Jamie's really able to really have these really thought-provoking moments within his songs, which actually leads me on to the next one, which is Move On. Quite frankly, I think this is probably one of Jamie's most beautiful songs, in my opinion, simply because of the fact that he's literally opening up and being vulnerable in areas in which a lot of artists don't do, especially sometimes in grime as well. So in this song, Move On, where he says, my biggest fear is no control, where everything you thought mattered was false, in tatters, really has been shattered. As human beings, we love to have control. We love to have those moments where we literally want to be the arbiter of everything, and really have moments where we actually understand and think, yo, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how it's going to be. When in actual fact, that's not really the case. There's moments where we sit and think, wow, I don't have the control to do that. And there are times where we do want to have control over situations, but we can't. And that's the reality of it. And I feel like Jamie puts that in such a beautiful way when you listen to the song, and you really start to deep and find out how much of a true reflection that is of our own human nature as people. That for me is really something that sticks out on that album. And as you get to sort of the latter half of that album, you start to find out that Jamie really goes from a moment where he's in grime mode, just sort of reflecting and kind of speaking on various things, to moments where he's really introspective and really thinking about life and thinking about other things. When you listen to the song Brothers and Sisters, and most notably this one, when he speaks about how much really is a song that puts you in a mood of thinking about the finer things in life. What's really important to you? Where do your values and matters lie? And in How Much, where Jamie literally says, all this chasing's got to stop. Fam, look around you, realize what's worth your energy, please, and what's not. Give thanks. Jamie literally points out what it is that matters in your life and how much of it do you want. And I think as you start to go through the album and you start to really understand and listen to the lyrics, you start to find out that Jamie's an artist that's very introspective. You can see how much of his values lie in literally family, friends, peace of mind, and how much literally the things that he has as a luxury are just a bonus to his life. And for me, that's a beautiful thing about the album and something that I appreciate a lot. Here is one of those songs where Jamie takes an opportunity to give back. He literally sits down, and there's a notable verse that I'll probably paraphrase, where he's literally given us advice. And not just throughout the album, but in particular songs like Here, you really start to see where Jamie's really starting to understand the minds of the youth and also the minds of the younger generation that are getting into music. So in moments where he says there's a big piece of the pie for us here, but they don't want to know how to split the pie fair. So start a business, own your own label right now. That's how you buy shares. Mine's just here. Even when you cross-reference to previous songs as well, where Jamie's literally shouting out people who are doing drill and recognizing the moments and the ways in which grime is moving, but also the way in which music is moving, how people are taken to different genres and actually getting involved in different genres as well. And there's more of a younger generation that are getting involved in music independently in so many different ways. And so one reason why I like Jamie so much is that he's one of those artists that are really taking time to really invest in the youth. I remember one time I went to go see Novelist back at Village Underground, and Jamie came out, you know, spat a couple bars with Big Zoo on the song that they had coming soon. And you really start to understand and really start to gauge that Jamie's literally someone who has been through all of that, is still making music, but he's also someone who's always willing to give back to the youth and to the younger generation of grime. And you can always, and that's literally riddled throughout the whole of Grime MC. Now, the last song that I want to talk about is literally the whole song. I couldn't even choose a specific lyric because the whole song literally showcases Jamie's lyrical ability at its finest. And that song is It's Mad. Now, It's Mad literally is probably one of my favorite Jamie songs of all time, next to Man Don't Care, next to 96 Bars of Revenge, because of how much Jamie just goes in, and literally every single bar is reference to 1, 2, 3's, ABCs, and then when you get towards the end of the last lyric is KPGM13. All I'm gonna say is listen to the song and find out for yourself how amazing Jamie is, and literally, again, how much he solidifies himself as lyrically one of Grime's best MCs. So with that, this is literally my favorite lyrics from Jamie's Grime MC. Let me know what you guys think. Is there any lyric that I missed out or anything that you find in particular that you enjoy the most? This is the first of many videos that I'm going to be making, that I'm going to be reviewing music, doing more content and driving more stuff. Always give me feedback on how I can do better. And so with that, my name's Archie. Thanks for watching.